happens pretty much after you leave sports management? What was the next thing that happened?
Yeah, the next thing that I did is, so I worked in advertising agency for a long time, over the past decade.
And we actually run a digital marketing agency as well and media company. So I would love to know, like, what were some of your biggest takeaways as well, working with a big advertising agency for the amount of time you did? Like,
that's a great question.
What was that like?
Man, first of all, it was a great ride. One that could easily still be going. Had, I think, God not plucked me out of that to put me on a different course that I'm also immensely thankful and excited to be on. But, one thing that I think that I would say that it was consistent through all of that, and a lot of the work that I began doing in like the brand strategy and in advertising agency space, it was sports driven work. So even what I was working on for AT&T, for Doritos or PepsiCo, State Farm, even they were always associated with like sports events or sports strategies or sports media. So that I got a chance to see those overlap a lot. But one of the things that's certainly a draw and a consistency is all of these organizations had to figure out from their advertising or their media partners that were involved, like how to make one massive story show up across all the mediums and the channels. So one of the companies that I was with, the advertising agency that I was with, we did a lot of promotional work at the time. So I like to say I grew up and I cut my teeth in experiential, like events from a sports perspective. So if we were owning in our agency what the event lane was for this new program or campaign that, say, Doritos or somebody was running, we had to also make sure that was consistent with how it was showing up in social, how it was showing up in TV and media. And it's one story. I think that's just a challenge right there, really, for people to get an opportunity to grasp that, look, it's one story just told on a different medium or a different canvas. And I think a lot of times people will take a story, take a strategy or a story that's showing up like on TV, and then try to make it completely different when it comes to the event, or try to make it completely different when it comes to social. And yeah, you got to tweak it and make it nuanced for that channel, but like it's one story. I think that's just the real challenge of like figuring out what the story is and telling it consistently across all those different mediums. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. Those some great takeaways there from the advertising agency perspective.
It's a good time.
Telling the story across,
It's a good time.
Multiple channels, Gotcha. All right. So what happens, again, once you exit sports management, what's next?
So I actually went to what we would call, client or brand side for a little while. And I worked here at NCR. We're in Atlanta. NCR is headquartered in Atlanta. And they got a massive, amazing office. Like, first of all, I got to say a little bit. I had no idea what NCR was or what they did before I got there. I will admit that. I just remember driving by 75, 85 right there by Midtown.
How did you get to Atlanta?
I got to Atlanta working with an advertising agency, actually,
on
AT&T's business.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I got here. I always remember the date because God works in crazy, mysterious ways, but it always works out. So I'm grateful for the sovereignty that He's really had over my life. But I got out here November 28th, 2018. Working on AT&T's business. We needed an in-office lead to be closer to our clients. So I came out here. They've got the Lenox Park location.
Yeah.
That was a great experience. But the thing about sometimes working in advertising space or any client-driven space, when there's challenges on the core of the business, then sometimes you got to find budget cuts.
Yeah.
And I got out here on November 28th, 2018. And the agency I was with at the time, we lost the AT&T business on December 11th.
Oh, man.
So I was only out here about 3 weeks before I started having to do, I had my foundation sort of rocked a little bit. And in a way, now looking back, I wouldn't wish that during that season, but that rockiness of the foundation really had me figure out what course I was on.
Yeah.
Because I had been in advertising and working in the agency space and in these sports programs for so long. For the past 6 or 7 years at the time, I was comfortable, I should say. I kind of was on autopilot a little bit. And I say, looking back, I've had the conversation with several people and they're like, well, how'd you get into this? How'd you get into advertising or an agency space working on sports? And I would say, it was an accident because, coming out of college, I just was looking for somewhere to start, and I was looking for somewhere to start that could check those boxes that, look, I wanted to be in marketing and advertising. And I wanted to do sports centered work at the time.
Right.
And I landed at a place that could do those things for me, and I just never left. But when the change happened, when I got out here, having the change with the organization, with the business we had, with AT&T needing to shift, I realized that I need to go do something else. And that's when I think one of the more transformative periods of my career really happened, working at NCR. For those that don't really know a whole lot about NCR, they're the best kept secret in terms of making our lives go that has never been told. And here's what I mean by that.
What's that?
Like, so NCR is their payment software and hardware. They actually split it into two companies now, NCR Atleos and NCR Voyix, but also NCR, for lack of a better phrase now. But they power payroll and platforms for payments and checkouts. So all of the Walmart registers, all of the Target registers, you go to most restaurants, NCR cash register machine. Yeah. I mean, just you pumping your gas, NCR payment system at the pumps. So they really power a lot of our lives. It's playing around in the background. I was like, man, once I got inside of the organization, I was like, this is significant. But they've got a really cool Midtown Atlanta presence. The towers in the building there were fantastic. And I just really benefited from it because I got into that organization, and it wasn't anything to do with sports anymore. Like, so the sports chapter in the book was sort of closed, for lack of a better phrase, but a lot of the mindset and the strategic belief in how to approach problems definitely came with me. From a sports perspective to NCR. And I got a chance then to just kind of hone a little bit more specificity into global brand strategy and global brand management. And, I call my time at NCR, which I was there about 3 years, my pseudo business degree, because I'm definitely probably not going back to school unless I absolutely have to. And I'm going to make sure I don't have to. But they're just getting that organization, and them being 40,000 employees, global. I was actually there during the pandemic as well. So just being able to figure out how you navigate a company that is acquiring companies. There's mergers, acquisitions, there's product expansions, all this stuff happening around you in this sort of like brand ecosystem that you need to figure out how to manage and work within. So I was really thankful for that challenge, and doing that at NCR was really great. And we actually ultimately ended up going back to agency for a little bit after that.
Gotcha. And the opportunity with NCR, you said you just rolled past the building. How did the opportunity come about?
I rolled past the building. I threw some. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually I think I was really saying I had no idea what they did or who they were before I found out about them. I just knew the building as the company that had that cool gym that you could see from the highway when you drive past. And someone was telling me about them, and I looked into it, and I found out what they were doing, and found a role within their brand division and department there. And the rest is sort of history, as they say. It sounds really massive, but it was really history after that. I got in, and shout out to the manager that I had there. I feel like I've also in my career had the fortune to have some great bosses. My manager there, her name was Katie Kirshner. She just really was good about mentoring and helping me figure out how to expand my career, how to open my gaze a little bit. She was really transformative in supporting me to get more know-how, more expertise in a brand strategy lane. And just sometimes in an organization like that, I say it all the time, be able to have a seat at the table. Sometimes it's someone has to invite you in. And I think for all intents and purposes, she invited me in a way, and I've been grateful for that ever since.
Hello, this is G Bass, Rise of the 1%, Rise Media. We on this Saturday evening about to get ready to knock out some podcast episodes with some individuals here in the city of Atlanta making some big moves. You can see here, look, this is how it goes down. Here when our guests come and sit down with myself, G Bass, otherwise the 1% of Rise Media, to have that conversation, to share the story, share the journey, share what you got going on. So listen, everybody got a story, everybody got a journey, and then you got some things going on, then you definitely can get with us and see them It'd be a fit to be on the Rise of 1% podcast and actually have that discussion with myself. It's going to be a link to a form you can fill out. You said www.theriseof1%.com/pod form. Again, www.theriseof1%.com/pod form. It's going to be in this video. You can fill that out. And we can see if there'll be a fit for you to come on and have that conversation with myself. If you don't fill out the form, then obviously it's not for you, and that's fine. We're looking for those that's serious. Those that's serious about rising to the top 1% are already in the 1%. That's what we're looking to sit down with myself right here. As you can see, Rise Media, Rise of 1%. This is how we get down. We have a great time and have a lot of fun doing it. So once again, if you're serious, make sure you fill out the form. We'll look over the form, see if it's a fit. If it's a fit, we'll reach out. If not, we won't reach out. We'll just continue to move forward. But with that said, this is G-Bass. See you soon. Have a great one on purpose.